What's up you guys, it's Ben and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything there is related to selling on Amazon. So in this video, what I wanted to do is go back to the basics. This is a video for everyone that is looking at YouTube videos, but especially the ones that are actually willing to take action. Those that have watched videos and are actually now courageous enough to actually do something about it and actually start their Amazon FBA journey. In this video, what I want to do is show you how to set up your own limited company for Amazon FBA. Now guys, when it comes to selling on Amazon, and I explained this very thoroughly in my course, there are three things you have to worry about in the very beginning. And that is setting up of your own limited company, which I'll show you in this video, setting up of your business bank account, because just like you have your own personal bank account, you have to have a business bank account. And then you have to set up an Amazon professional seller account, okay? And in this video, we're going to talk about the very first thing, which a lot of people actually find quite daunting. A lot of my students actually find this quite stressful because they haven't actually ran a business before. And for those of you that do find this a little bit overwhelming, a little bit stressful, guys, remember, this is a very, very simple step. It may sound like a lot, the fact that you are opening up your own company, your own limited liability company. However, guys, the truth is people do it all the time. This is not something you should be stressed out about. This is just something that you have to get over, like the first hurdle effectively, and it's a very, very simple hurdle to get over. So guys, with that being said, guys, if you are interested in selling on Amazon, and like I said, you do feel a bit anxious, but you want to get started, you want to make money selling on Amazon because of the exponential growth that is happening in e-commerce, then please don't forget to check the links down below for my own personal mentorship, where I will help you and guide you along the way in setting up your own business, or potentially help you with the product research, which of course, as most of you know, is by far the most important part of the business. Otherwise, guys, if you're running on a relatively lower budget, but you still want to use some of the business tools that I use and recommend, then please don't forget to check the links down below for awesome, by far the most reliable e-commerce accountants that I can recommend. Helium 10, the best product research tool out there, or Tide, the most user-friendly business bank account to start off your Amazon FBA business. And with that being said, guys, let's get straight to the video. Right guys, so before we get into it, this is a practical video where we'll actually give you practical advice on how to start off your own Amazon FBA business. So there's going to be a lot of information for you to potentially take in, guys. So if you do get lost, if you do need to scroll back, don't forget to just pause the video, come back to it, and continue with the steps each and every single way. It is important that you do it properly so you can get and move on to other things, such as setting up your own business bank account and the Amazon professional seller account. So let's get straight to it. The first thing you have to do is actually register the company on the government.co.uk website. So simply just type into Google, register a company, and come to the gov.uk website, where it will actually tell you what you need to set up your own business. Now, this all can be done by an accountant, and all of this information will actually be asked by an accountant if you choose them to do it for you. The trouble is, guys, the majority of these guys will actually charge you 50 to maybe £100 to actually set up a company, limited company for you, and it's something that can very, very easily do it yourself, usually within a half an hour, and then the company, as you can see, will be registered within 24 hours after. And in my personal opinion, any money that we can save, anything that we can potentially do ourselves, we should. So then more money can be invested into products, and therefore we make more profit. So let's get straight to it. First things first, we need to click on register now. Okay, now what they're going to say for me here is actually, are you starting a new application? And I'll say yes. However, in most cases, it will actually be a no, because you may go backwards and forwards. You may come out this website and come back into it, but let's go with yes at this time round. And we will have to first of all create a government gateway ID. Now what that is, guys, basically is if we ever basically come out of the website, or potentially need to submit some sort of tax returns or anything like that, this is the information that we have to type into gov.uk website for them to recognize that it is us, it's about our business, and so on and so forth. So are you able to pay for this application using a credit or debit card? In most cases, it will be yes. Next up, it will be, are any directors or persons with significant control on the company's house secure register? So basically, if you're running a company already and you're setting up a new one, then you would say yes. However, in most cases, it'll actually be a new one. So if you haven't run a business before, then you will click on no. The next thing is you will now create a government gateway user ID for this company. And when you click government gateway user ID, they will actually ask you for your email address. Now, we're going to have to basically skip this step effectively because I already have my own gateway ID. So all that happens is you type in your email and they will send you a code to confirm that email. And then once you confirm that code, you will type in a password and that's it. It will give you a gateway ID, which I think is 12 numbers, a series of 12 numbers and a password. And if you ever need to go back onto your application, you just type in that code, type in the password, and you can go back into it. So once you have figured that out, the first thing they're going to ask is, will the company be a community interest company? And in this case, if we're going to sell on Amazon FBA, it simply won't be. Next up, will it be limited by guarantee as a non-profit, bodies like charities or clubs, or limited by shares? Us, we're going to be limited by shares. Next up, company name. Now this is what a lot of people get confused about, and I typed in Amazon 123 just for an example. However, guys, remember, a company name is very, very different to the trademark name, okay? People really overcomplicate what should the company name be, what should be known for, and so on and so forth. The company name doesn't matter so much. It is the existing trademark, it's the trademark that matters, it's your brand name that matters, okay? So it's very perfectly normal for me, for example, my name is Ben, I could very easily call my company Ben Limited 1993, whatever, because that is only going to show up to HMRC, to my account, and that's it. It's the brand name that we have to think about, and that is actually a little bit later down the line. So don't spend too much time thinking about your company name because truthfully it doesn't really matter that much. And then after you click whether it's limited or LTD. Personally, I chose LTD because it's just shorter, it's easier to remember, whatever, but it's completely up to you guys. Next up, we have to type in the company's registered office address. Now, this can be different to your personal address, okay? And you will just have to type in the number, the postcode, and select the actual address effectively. If you are working from home, then you can easily set this up as the same as your personal address. Then we click save and continue. Next up, where will the company be registered? It'll be England and Wales for some of us, for others it will be in other potentially in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, wherever. Now, the next step is you have to tell where is the company's principal place of business. Now, it may actually be different to your actual company address. Basically, what they mean is, are you actually doing business in one site and then potentially having a business office in another site? For us, Amazon FBA sellers, 9 times out of 10, it will actually be exactly the same address, okay? Because we won't be doing business on any other site. So therefore, we simply save and continue and move on to the next step. Next up, we have to give them one or potentially more ways to get in contact. And this is really important, guys, because if you do have any questions, or if they have any questions, more importantly, about your tax affairs or anything like that, you want to give them as many different methods to contact you, okay? What's important here is that it's in your responsibility effectively to give them correct information. And if you just resort to giving them an email address and you happen to forget to read an important email, you may be in trouble with the HMRC later on down the line. So in my personal opinion, you should give them an email address, give them a contact number and potentially another contact number, just to make sure you're not missing any important emails or phone calls from them. Now, next up, we have to tell them whether or not this is a brand new business that has never run before, or is it replacing another business effectively. So this would include if you're buying up another company, or if you're changing from potentially a sole trader or a partnership, whatever, into a limited company. In most cases, once again, it will actually be a no, it will actually be a brand new business, okay? Once that's done, the next step is, when will the company start trading? Now, this doesn't really matter for us. However, in most cases, I would actually advise to say on the same date it gets set up. Now, you may not do so straight away, but that is the easiest way of doing so, because then they won't ask you when will you do it, when you're going to get started, and so on and so forth. In the next one, we'll say in its first 3 months, will the company do any of the following? Pay interest on known bank loans, make royalty payments. Again, this is something that we'd probably be going to selecting no, because we're not going to go into debt, and that is not exactly what we're thinking of doing. Now, the next one is really important, and this is basically to tell them what type of business is it going to be, okay? And this is what we're looking for. We're looking for retail sale via mail orders, houses, or via the internet. And this is how basically the government is going to distinguish what we do in comparison to a restaurant, a construction company, lawyers, accountants, whatever, okay? This is what we tell the government, that we're actually going to be selling goods over the internet. So whether it's Amazon, eBay, Shopify, whatever, usually this is going to fall under this category. Next up, we have to check all the details, guys, and make sure you do this properly and confirm everything, okay? Everything has to be set correctly, and therefore once that's done, we confirm that and agree to become a director, and therefore save and continue on to the next part of the application. Now, in the next part of the application, I have already put these in, okay? But this is basically one of the things they're going to ask you is how many shares does the owner own effectively? Now, you can give yourself 1 share, you can give yourself 100 shares, 1,000 shares, whatever. The truth is that if you're going to be running the company by yourself, you're going to have your own 1 share or 100 shares. If you're actually going to run in a partnership with potentially your spouse, your girlfriend, whatever, then it would be fair to give yourself 1 share and your girlfriend 1 share. So basically in the company, there are 2 shares. The next thing they're going to ask you is the value of those shares. Again, this is something that doesn't really matter because it's a private limited company, and therefore whatever value you put under your business means pretty much nothing, because nobody is actually able to buy you out without actually your permission and so on. So it really doesn't matter what value you put under your business, because this is only for government purposes only. Okay, then with the company shares, and you can confirm that it's only 1 share, and in this case only £1, you give shareholders full rights to vote on company issues, receive dividend payments, which is really important, and receive capital and assets in the company closes down. We click confirm and continue. Next up, we confirm again all the details, not just for the company, but also for persons in control and the shares, okay? This is really important, guys. And once we click on both of those, confirm where the person lives effectively and confirm the control of the company, because they want to know who is responsible behind the company. Of course, it's going to be the company dealing with everything, but who's in charge of the company is really important for the HMRC. Next up, do you want to use model articles? Now, this is really important. This is basically a PDF file that they're going to send you of model of articles of association, effectively outlining how your business should be run in general purposes. And the truth is, this is one of the things you may actually be requested by Amazon to submit. So make sure you say yes. So we're going to click on yes, because we do want to get these model articles of association to save and continue for us later. And we want to click this and actually save this PDF, because Amazon is going to require this from us later down the line. Next up, we confirm the persons agreed to form the company in memorandum of association in accordance with the law. So therefore, we tick the box saying that we read it, we understood it, and so on. Next up, creating an electronic signature for me. Effectively, you choose one of these things and type in the last 3 letters only. This is what I've chosen, and then you click save and continue. One more thing, check all the answers, okay? You have to check every single thing, the company details, the email address, very important, the business address as well, the shares, everything needs to be checked again and again. This is why the government continues you to actually ask and check, is everything here correct, okay? Because changing this may be a little bit of a nightmare later on down the line. Therefore, make sure to check absolutely everything, and make sure that all of this information also corresponds to what you're going to be putting on your Amazon FBA professional seller account application as well. Because what Amazon is going to do is may potentially ask you for proof, whether it's limited company details, whether it's a business bank account, whatever, and they will actually see if the details match. Therefore, your name has to match, your address has to match, and so on and so forth. Once we click that, now send your application. Once we click that, nothing can be changed, okay? So make sure you double check everything. And once that is clicked, you will simply be asked to pay £12 charge for your company registration effectively, and that's it. Over the next 2-3 days, you're going to get quite a lot of papers in the post that you have to make sure to save, okay? These things will not only be necessary for Amazon's purposes later on down the line, but they will also be necessary for your accountants when it comes to doing your VAT, your company tax accounts, and so on and so forth. So anything that you get from the HMRC, from the gov.uk website, make sure to save, and don't just toss it around, throw it away because you may think it's not necessary at all. And that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I really hope you found it useful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.